mynews.studio.
Picture a single drop of blood packed with immune cells that have been reprogrammed to outsmart leukemia. Could this be the turning point in preventing relapse?
That image really sets the stage. Today's date is June 25th, 2025. Our topic, the next generation of leukemia therapies. We're not just fine-tuning old treatments anymore. Now, immune cells, especially T cells, are being genetically modified to target cancer with more precision.
Right. The headline is Advanced CAR T-cell therapy. In this approach, T cells are modified to target leukemia. But here's the twist. Scientists have engineered these CAR T cells to secrete something called a TIM3 decoy. Why is that important? Because leukemia cells use TIM3 to hide from the immune system. By blocking TIM3, these engineered cells can attack more cancer cells, last longer, and reduce relapse rates.
And this isn't just in theory. In animal models, especially B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, the results show fewer relapses and stronger responses. But is this approach only for BALL?
No, and that's really the potential here. At places like Memorial Sloan Kettering and Fred Hutch Cancer Center, researchers are adapting similar cell therapies for tougher cases like acute myeloid leukemia and myelodysplastic syndrome. These are aggressive diseases that haven't responded well to immunotherapy. Some have 5-year survival rates below 25%. Early lab results suggest that engineered T cells might finally make a difference in these cases too.
So what's happening at the cellular level? How are scientists managing to make T cells so much more effective?
It's all in the genetic engineering. Researchers are adding genes to T cells that help them survive longer, divide more, and kill tumor cells more efficiently. For instance, they're using gene fusions found in some cancerous T cells, but only the parts that encourage division and survival, not the parts that can cause cancer. In mouse studies, these supercharged T cells actually outperform standard therapies, even when used at lower doses.
There's also work on armored T cells, right? The ones enhanced with cytokines like IL-18.
Yes, these cytokines help T cells survive in the harsh tumor environment. In early human trials for lymphoma, these modified T cells led to responses in over 80% of patients. The idea is to use this same approach in leukemia, and perhaps later in solid tumors as well.
That's encouraging. But how soon could patients actually get these kinds of treatments?
CAR T therapies are already FDA approved for some blood cancers, but these new enhanced versions are just beginning early clinical trials. If the results hold up, broader access could come within the next decade. Still, there are challenges.
What are the main risks and obstacles right now?
First, there are severe side effects. Cytokine release syndrome and neurotoxicity can require intensive care. Relapse is another issue. Some cancer cells manage to evade even engineered T cells. Manufacturing is also slow and costly because each treatment is custom-made and must be produced in specialized centers. We're still learning about long-term safety and possible off-target effects.
And access? Right now, these therapies are mostly at elite hospitals in high-income countries.
That's a major barrier. The high-cost, complex production and need for skilled teams mean most low- and middle-income countries can't offer these treatments. Researchers are exploring off-the-shelf versions and ways to cut costs, but it's going to require significant investment and policy changes.
There's also the regulatory and ethical side. How do you make sure these therapies are safe and distributed fairly?
Regulators require extensive trials and careful monitoring. There are real questions about fair access, informed consent, and the long-term impact of genetic modifications. Guidelines are still evolving, but the focus is on patient safety and fairness in distribution.
If we zoom out for a moment, why is all this so important?
Leukemia remains a leading cause of cancer death, especially in children and older adults. Traditional treatments can be harsh and aren't always effective. These new immunotherapies could last longer and be less toxic. And as we learn to personalize therapy, there's hope this approach could work for other cancers and maybe even for autoimmune diseases.
Let's address some questions from listeners. How soon could these therapies reach everyone? And might they work for other diseases too?
Widespread access could take up to a decade, but early trials are moving quickly. And yes, the same strategies might be adapted for other types of cancer and even for some non-cancer conditions.
That's quite a journey. We started with a drop of blood and ended up looking at the possible future of medicine.
Thank you for tuning in. This episode was powered by mynews.studio. You can try it now for free.